Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. It's been an interesting day today, that's the term we'll use for it, but we're all set here to take a little break from that and play Super Boss Monster by Brotherwise Games. In this game, our goal is to build a dungeon and lure heroes to it, and to ultimately take them out. So we're going to start off with, we've got a little bit of setup that we have to finish on camera. So we've got our two bosses that we're going to look at here. Our first possible boss that we could play as is Arcadius, a celestial dragon. Level up. So when you level up, so when you place your fifth room, that's when you level up. For the rest of the game, at the start of your build phase, place a +1 counter in your dungeon. At the end of your turn, remove a +1 counter from your dungeon. And it's got a cleric treasure. That'll come into play when we determine what heroes we need to lure. And our other boss is the Shadow Fool. Level up. Give each room in your dungeon with at least one +1 counter, another +1 health counter. That's got a thief treasure on it. And I think just because I like the idea of playing as a dragon, I'm going to play as Arcadius, the celestial dragon, today. Then we'll take a look at our opening hand. I'm going to bring the dragon. We'll do that. Let's see. Do we have rooms that we can build? I think so. So I'm just going to refresh my memory, but anything in gold in the upper left corner. Where's the anatomy card? Here we are. Okay. So anything with a gold icon in the upper left is an advanced room that has to be built later. So I've got... Whoa, holy cow. Okay, so I've got a few rooms that I can build. I've got the False Art Gallery, which I can't build yet, so that's not relevant right now. The Count's Hall is another advanced room that I can't build yet. The rooms I can build, though, are the Minion Arena, which is a trap room and a space my minion can visit. When I send him here, give this room +5 health. And that's the number of damage that we do to that it does. Okay, so that's a room we can build. As is the dangling anvil. You may remove a +1 counter from another room in your dungeon to deal 3 damage to a hero in this room. And that's got a thief treasure on it. We've also got the Shrewman Farm, which has 2 warrior trophies on it. Whenever you build a room adjacent to this one, put a +1 counter on this card. And I think we're going to start with a minion room. So that's somewhere we can have the boss visit, or that we can have the minion visit. As for the spells, we've got Bad Advice, which means we can choose a hero in our dungeon, ignore all health counters on that hero until end of turn. Or Super. I thought Super was supposed to come out when I'm setting up for solo mode. Oh no, it's not. Okay, never mind. So Super says we can deal 3 damage to a hero in our dungeon, or if we're level up, deal 5 damage instead. Okay, so we do have a hand that we can use. And I think on that note, we are set to jump into this game. So, let's see, phase 1 I believe is the town phase, yep. So we'll start off by restocking the market with 2, I believe that's 2 rooms and a spell card. Right. 1 spell and There we go. Okay, now that we got that sorted out, first, our spell that we have is a strength buff. Choose up to 2 different monster rooms in your dungeon and give each a +1 counter. And the room that we have to choose, the room that we have to look at, is a wind-up trap. It's a thief treasure, and when we visit, it does 1 damage. And when we send our minion here, give this room a +1 damage counter. Let's see. So we have heroes appearing in town, so we're flipping over 3 heroes. So our first hero that we've got coming to town is a fighter with 6 health, Scoff the Beast Trainer. Going against the traditions of her community, Scoff chose to befriend the beasts terrorizing her town. So that would take 1 fighter treasure to lure here, right? Only be lured if you have enough treasures to summon them. The hero in the leftmost slot needs 1 of their treasure. Second from the left, 2, 3, 3, yada, yada, yada. So our second hero is the cleric. We would need 2 cleric treasures to lure him here. Paul Reitman, hero at law. Have you been unfairly harmed by a boss monster? Have you been unjustly accused of being a werewolf? Call now. 6 damage and 1 blood droplet. And then our last hero that we've got is the mage, Wisebeard, wandering wizard. Despite how garishly he's dressed, it's always easy to lose Wisebeard in the crowd. 4 health for him, we would need 3 mage treasures to lure him here. Let's see, market and minion. So we can have so we draft a card. Which card do I want to draft? I don't know if I want another minion room in here. I think we'll take the... I think we'll take the wind-up trap. And then the spell gets discarded. We also send our minion somewhere. We could either give our... Actually, we could potentially give the room a... We could potentially give a room a... We could give the dungeon another cleric treasure to make sure we lure the cleric in, but I don't think I want to do that. I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go ahead and have my minion visit the minion arena. Okay, so that's the market and minion phase. Next up we have the build phase, so now I can go ahead and build a room in the dungeon, and I am going to go ahead and build the Shrewman farm. When I build a room adjacent to this one, I put a +1 counter on the card. Right. Alright, so that's the build phase. Now in the minion phase, my minion resolves. So since I had my minion visit the trap room, I give the room +5 health, or +5 damage. So we'll get... Is that just for the turn, or... That might just be for the turn. Well, it doesn't say for the turn, so I'm just going to give it +5 health, or +5 damage. So that's going to be +3. Let's actually remember to add 4 and 5. Okay, so that's the minion phase. Okay, hold on. If a spell... Count this damage against heroes, but it doesn't provide a permanent effect. Okay. So if a room spell or boss gives a room +1 and does not use the word counter, so that's just 5 damage for the turn, is how that's going to work. So, with that in mind, now we start luring heroes in. And now we lure heroes in within the bait phase. In this case, only the fighter. We only have enough to bring the fighter to the dungeon. So I'm going to move the what's the word I want? I'm going to move the dungeon up and then bring the heroes here. So the hero is on our leftmost room. Okay, so now in the adventure phase, he's going to start moving through. Nothing happening here, but he will take 5 damage here, where during the adventure phase, I can play it because it is this phase. I will play out my super to deal 3 damage to a hero in my dungeon. That will take out the fighter, and I'll claim that as a soul. And then that should be it for the adventure phase. Yes. End of turn, we check for end of game. We don't have 10 spells. There are still heroes in the town deck. So we're all set there, which means we've got 3 heroes coming out. Which means we've got 3 heroes coming in. The minion goes back. And okay, now that we see how that room works, that room's actually a lot less useful, which means I probably want to throw something on top of it. So, what do I want to do here? Well, first thing we need to do is we need to go into the town phase again. So, the town phase says we need to start by revealing a spell and a room. So our first spell that we've got to look at is Archaeology. Choose 1 room into your dungeon. Until the end of the turn, it also has the treasure root symbols of every room stacked beneath it. And then our newest room that we have to choose from, that we have to look at, is another minion arena. I do not like either one of those, but I guess I will take the Archaeology since I might eventually start stacking rooms up. Then actually, heroes appear in town. Actually, I'm getting ahead of myself, so we've got heroes appearing in town. First hero to appear is another mage, Javier, a PhD with 6 health. Few can match Javier's academic accomplishments, or her psychic powers for that matter. Next up, we've got the thief, Colibri, Mischievous Bones. Once a dungeon denizen, Colibri just showed up in town one day, and no one cared enough to kick him out. 6 health. And then we've got a minion going to the temple, or a hero going to the temple. A fighter. Mintleaf, Lumberjack. Mintleaf usually enjoys her quiet life in the woods making art, but every now and then she gets the itch to slay some vermin. Okay, that's a major league problem. So, I think here, what are we going to build? I think we're going to build the... Well, actually, we have to decide where I'm sending our minion first. I already drafted the Archaeology. Where are we sending the minion? Are we sending the minion back to the minion arena again? And do we don't have any mage treasures to be able to lure either of those magi. So this game is probably going to be over pretty quick. Right? I believe in the solo mode, the game ends if the hero moves to the tavern. And the market reveal 1 spell in 2 rooms. Okay, so I did that wrong. So we have Archaeology, another minion arena, and we have a boardwalk. When you build this room, give 1 other trap room in your dungeon a +1 counter. I think that's the room I'm actually going to build. I'm actually going to draft, and I'm going to build it immediately. But I'm getting ahead of myself there because I have to decide where I'm sending the minion. Let's see. I'm going to send him to... where do I want to send him? Yikes. Make my final room have +2 health as an option. But unfortunately... yeah, with 2 warrior treasures, the only way I could lure Mintleaf in here is if I send the minion up here to the temple. The cards are not coming out the way I want them to. So I am going to send my minion to the minion arena again, and then I'm going to build the boardwalk. When I build this room, I give one other trap room in my dungeon a +1 counter. I also get to put a +1 counter on the Shrewman farm because I built a room adjacent to it. That's the boardwalk right here. And another trap room, I'll give the minion arena a +1 counter. Okay, so now we go into the minion phase. So now the minion arena once again has +5 health. So that's it for that. And then we go into the bait phase. Unfortunately, we left the fighter there, and nobody else we don't have enough treasures to lure anybody else here. So the dungeon's going to sit undisturbed. And yeah, things are not going well for us at all here. So we definitely need to start worrying about luring heroes here. So this looks like it's going to be a pretty short game. But we're into a new market phase, so first up for the spell, we've got the back rooms. Choose one room in any dungeon. Until end of turn, it deals +2 damage for each room stacked underneath it. Then speaking of rooms, we've got the cursed statue. If we send doing 2 damage, if we send our minion there to visit, we draw a spell card. And we've got subspace path, which is a trap room. You may destroy this room to draw a spell card. And then we've got heroes appearing in town. First up, we've got another fighter, rabbit transformed warrior with 4 health. After being turned into a rabbit by a witch's curse, this brave knight decided to just hop with it. Okay. Then we've got another mage, Michael, Wizard's Apprentice, for 6 health. When Michael's teacher left on a trip, he told Michael not to get into any trouble. Michael blames the broom for his current predicament. Yeah, right. And the thief, Janie Smith, novice time traveler, 4 health. After finding a magical tree fort, Janie has gone on adventures throughout time and space, but she's always home for dinner. Let's see, what do I want to build here? I think here... Oh, I've got to decide what I want to draft, and I think it's going to be the subspace path. Now where do I want to send the minion? I need to try to lure some of these heroes here. Even if we don't get them to do anything. So we definitely need to put down... Actually, if we put down the subspace path, we would get to lure the mage and the thief here, which could be worthwhile. But I need to decide where I'm sending the minion. So I've got 2 thief treasures, so I do need to bear that in mind. If I could lure 3 heroes here, that would be the ideal. If I could lure 3 heroes here and be able to take them out, that would be ideal. Because at least if I lure 3 heroes here, we're basically just treading water at that point, which is not the total worst thing in the world. So let's see. I've got to decide where I'm sending my minion, though. Unfortunately, all of my current minion spaces are currently occupied. That is problematic. And all of the landmarks mean the hero comes in with +2 health. So I need to make sure they're able to get taken out in the dungeon. Let's see, 1. That would be 2, 3, 4. Unless I build an advanced room over top of... Unless I build an advanced room over top of one of these. Which... False Art Gallery is an advanced trap room, so I could put something down on top of that. And remove a +1 counter from another room to deal 3 damage to an enemy here. I'm still trying to decide where I want to send the minion, because we don't have a lot of good places we can send the minion. I think we're going to plan on luring 3 heroes here. The question is, can I take any of them out? I can probably take at least one of them out. So yeah, let's go to the hideout. We'll plan on luring the thief into the dungeon, and I will put down the Do the counters come... I think the counters would probably be most likely to get discarded when you build it. You return the +1 counters to the resource pile. Okay. So whenever a hero with +2 health enters the room, this room gains a +1 counter. So I think I will go with the plan of putting down a subspace path. So I can destroy the room to draw a spell card. But that gives me 1 damage, but more importantly, it gives me another thief treasure. So now I've got 1 mage treasure, which lets me lure the mage here. Then I've got 3 thief treasures, which lures... Actually, that doesn't lure the thief here because I needed 4 to do that. It doesn't lure Calibri, but it does lure... what's her name? It does lure Janie with +2 health. Do I have anything I can do to help with that? Choose a hero in your dungeon. Ignore all heart counters on that hero until end of turn. Do the heroes adventure through one at a time? I think the answer to that is yes, they do. And yeah, 1 at a time, each hero moves through the dungeon. So the mage will do 1, we'll take 1, 2, 3, 4, but he will survive. We'll stack it like that, so he's going to be a soul that'll count against us at end of game. And then the thief will go, actually I think we still just lose. Because the thief will go 1, 2, 3, 4. Surviving turn into another soul. And then we're about to have the game end. So the minion will return. And then we'll put out cards. So the spell deck, we've got a counterfeit map. Reveal and discard a room card. Add its treasure icons to your boss until end of turn. Then for the 2 rooms, we've got the puzzle door. Trap room. When you build this room, place a +1 counter on it. You may remove 2 +1 counters from your dungeon to cancel a played spell. Or Harpy Roost, Advanced Monster Room. When you build this room, give it a +1 counter for each Cleric treasure room in the discard pile. Well, we've also got heroes appearing. And when the tavern is occupied, the game just ends on the spot, and I think the game is just about to end. Right? Yes. So, your hero would be forced out of town. Place him in the first open town landmark. Yeah. So we're going to place our 3 heroes out. First hero coming out is the cleric. Why couldn't that have come out as a 1 treasure as the first hero? Second hero, we've got another cleric. We've got Otat and Friday the 6th. But the last hero going into the tavern is another thief, Sarah the Runaway Bride. So because the tavern's filled up, that's actually the end of the game, which doesn't even let us calculate our score. And whew! Yowza! So is the number of scores you killed? So yeah, we ended up as being a full failure on that one because we scored a -1. But that'll do it for this playthrough of Super Boss Monster. I do enjoy this game, but I definitely need to figure out something, because this is the second time I've played it solo on the channel, and I've actually lost both times pretty handily. But I'm rambling at this point, so let's go ahead and wrap this video up. I'm going to take a small break for dinner, but I will have another game for you guys a little bit later tonight. I'll talk a little bit more about that when I get up to... you guys will see it you guys will see it when I go live with it. But I'm going to take a break, get dinner going, and just kind of relax for a little bit. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.